Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This voice means only one thing. You're welcome back to the Hat Trick Podcast, and with it, you can always tell that it is me. The pod is back after a week absence. We're here to cover late goals in the FA Cup, the Premier League, as well, obviously, because we had a small game of the Premier League. In the Championship, we had Sheffield United beat Leeds in a title race where the temperature seems to be soaring more and more high as Norwich win again. We celebrate Messi being magic. We'll discuss the Champions League and whether or not Adam and Tom actually like international breaks. And speaking of Adam and Tom, we need to obviously introduce them. Good afternoon, Mr. Adam Sundles.
Good morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tom Rogers.
Good afternoon.
You did that on purpose as well. You're absolute swine. Right, should we jump straight in then? Let's jump straight in. Adam, you've had a good week, haven't you?
Yeah, good week. Yeah.
We'll get to why Adam's had a good week in a few days. I've had a good week. Tom, you're probably the only one that hasn't. Well, I mean, you might have done because Derby didn't play at the weekend, did they?
No, but last week was a bit.
Yeah, it was
a bit poor, wasn't it? We all went, so.
Bit poor. We'll get into that in later on, but to start, let's start properly, and we will start with Swansea Manchester City. 3-2 it finished to Manchester City's favour, but Adam, it probably shouldn't have done.
No, I watched this game. Really entertaining from Swansea, first half especially. But obviously we're going to come on to those Man City goals. Obviously the first one, a great one for Bernardo Silva, outside of the foot. The other two, was it not?
I love an outside of the foot finish. I really do. It's my favourite kind of finish. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And then the other two, let's start with the penalty.
Which one?
Well, obviously,
we were both a bit.
Yeah, we're both
dodgy.
a bit. Yeah, I'll give the benefit of the doubt for the Swansea one, but the Man City, that was a horrendous decision. He got the ball clearly. As on commentary, he said 100% not a penalty in 100 years. And then the last one, clearly offside. And this is the whole debate with VAR. They've got them in some matches, and in others they don't.
Yep.
It's definitely not a level playing field.
No. Tom, you had a great VAR pun that I will let you have because you took sole credit for.
It was a great advertisement, wasn't it?
It was. I'm a fair believer of VAR. I think VAR will only improve the game left, right and centre. I don't see how anybody can say it's not. I'm not going to call them idiots or Philistines or anything like that, but I think it can only improve our game. I
was a bit 50-50 with it, like, for the past year, 2 years. But now, after watching that game and watching Swansea pretty much get robbed of a semi-final spot, it has made me think we do really need it now.
Yeah, and it. Again, with what you said, Adam, with it being in some and not being in others is really kind of strange for me. I don't understand. Yeah, because Swansea have the facilities for VAR. They definitely do because they're a Premier League club, or were until they got relegated.
Yeah, I was talking to Tom the other day. We saw on the phone the very first trial for VAR was an under-23s game at Swansea Stadium.
Oh man,
against Manchester City. Funny enough.
Oh man,
and obviously VAR was used to test it. I mean, you can see their point saying obviously some grounds aren't, suitable for VAR in their stadium, but obviously for some teams that clearly have the stadium to have VAR, it should be there, especially 100%. At the quarter final.
In the Premier League and Championship, I think it should be a minimum. Like in League 1 and 2, I understand like some grounds are 6,000-7,000 seaters, and they really just don't have the infrastructure there. But Premier League Championship teams do have it.
Yeah,
do have it easily.
Yeah, I mean, goal line technology, is that in the Championship now?
It's in the Championship now,
Championship now. But I understand with League 2 sides, because some League 2 sides don't have 4 stands. I think there's one League 2 side that has a hill instead of a stand in its ground.
Yeah. There's quite a few poor ones.
They only have 3 stands, like with the other ones, just like a solid hill where all the fans sit.
Yeah, and in League 1 as well, Accrington's grounds, I don't think that would be suitable for goal line technology. One of those things. Let's,
instead of talking about VAR and doing all that, because as of the summer, this will all be fixed. It'll all be sorted, and everything will be there. Let's actually talk about Swansea's goals, because they were brilliant. Yes, the penalty was a penalty, and it was great. The second one especially, Cilia's finish was incredible. They out-Man City. They just passed it around, and they were brilliant. They really were. Unlucky to Swansea, obviously Man City go through. They are the top scorers in the Cup with 19 goals so far, which is a lot. And Here's a really interesting stat that I didn't know if anybody knew or anything like that. This is the first time ever in Guardiola's reign Manchester City have come back to win a 2-0 deficit.
Yep.
Which, as you think about it, you think about the Guardiola reign, that's incredible. But there again, they haven't been down 2-0 in a lot of times, have they? They really haven't.
First time in 10 into it now.
Yeah. A couple of people were also saying about Phil Foden not playing. He played up to 40 minutes in midweek against Schalke, which we will get onto in the Champions League. So, are we all right with that, or are we a bit annoyed that he didn't play?
I'm not annoyed. At the end of the day, Guardiola wants to go through. He's going to put the best side out. He gave Foden time midweek, and he sees fit. He sees fit. So
Scored in midweek as well, didn't he?
exactly. Yeah.
We'll get onto that anyway. We'll move on to the next one. Wolves Manchester United. Wolves came up winners 2-1 at the Molineux Stadium, and it's them two Portuguese lads, Jimenez and Jota. They have been incredible for Wolves this season. They're the ones that scored the 2 goals for Wolves, and obviously Marcus Rashford getting the Man United one late on. I don't know what we can say. Were Man United poor, or were they tired, or were what can we say? How can we give an excuse for Man United, or was it just that Wolves were too good?
I think Wolves they always play the counter attack.
Yeah.
And obviously that second goal was a masterclass of a counter attack,
Yeah,
and
it was
that's the way Wolves play. They defended deep against Man United. Man United had a poor game. I mean, let's face it, they weren't at their absolute best, and then Wolves didn't really change their game plan. They don't change their game plan for anyone, really.
No.
Sit back, and when they get the ball, they've got the pace to go forward, and those 2 goals showed it.
Especially with Adama as well.
Yeah, it suits them playing against the better sides.
Yeah,
it really
it
suits
does.
them.
Because obviously, if a team comes up against them who sits back and defend, that means they've got to come out, and that changes their game plan. Really.
The examples this season being Huddersfield, where they've lost both times against Huddersfield. So, I mean, are we going to say this is troublesome for Man United, or are we? Is it kind of good for them to go out with the cup at this point? Going, yeah, we had a cup run, great, that's good. Yeah, we're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and we're most likely to finish 4th. Would any Man United fan say that at this point?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
if I was a Man
definitely.
United fan.
Well, the first half of the season, you watch them. Mourinho, they were awful under Mourinho. First half of the season, even we went there, beat them.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be happy knowing the start they had.
Brilliant. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, here's a really weird stat as well. Jimenez has scored 15 goals this season in all competitions for Wolves. Great return. He's got a buy clause for £30 million from Benfica in the summer because he's on loan from Benfica.
I think they paid it already in January.
Did they?
34 million, I think.
Okay, that's fine then. So he's obviously their player. That's fine. But here's where it gets interesting. He scored 8 more goals in all competitions than any other Wolves player. You minus that's 7 goals. Like, they need... I think if they're going to take that next level, especially in Europe, and do that, because they are probably going to get in that 7th spot and finish in Europe, or if they win the FA Cup, then they will, and blah, blah, blah. But I think they need another one. They need another 15 goal a season guy.
Yeah, definitely.
They do, but Nuno Santos, the Wolves manager, is very, very picky about who he plays and everything like that. They've used the least amount of players in the league this year because he's got a specific formula and do that lot. So there's a problem with Wolves there, is that they're not going to add 10, 5, 6 players. They're not going to Fulham in the season and spend 100 million and add 10 players that Nuno hates.
Yeah.
They're going to only pick 3 or maybe 2 or something like that. And yeah, they may be big money, but will they be able to play 3 games a week? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because when you're in Europa League, you are playing Thursday, Sunday, and your league form suffers.
Especially look at Burnley in comparison to this year and last year.
Yep.
They took a massive downfall. I mean, they didn't even get into Europe. So, I mean, just the qualifying took a real toll on them.
Well, that's your thing as well. Like, Burnley were unlucky last season because of the World Cup, but with this season there, your off-season will start in June. The players might not even get a holiday this year. They might not. They probably won't. And then your campaign starts in July. Like, you're playing competitive football in July.
Yeah.
That's scary. That is super scary.
Yeah. So the players, they finish mid-May.
Mid-May.
So you get possibly 4 weeks off.
That's it. That maybe if even not even that, because you will need to keep your fitness if you're playing in July. So Wolves have got a bit of a problem there. They've got to figure that out. We'll cover them in more detail later. Man United are going to be fine. We'll move on. Next one, Millwall Brighton 2-2. Now, let's get this clear very quickly. Millwall were 2-0 up in the 80th minute.
Well, it took to 88 for Brighton to score.
Sorry, the 88th minute.
I'd already turned off. I thought Millwall through.
You even put it on Twitter, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought, Millwall in the semi-final. What's going on there? And then I just looked 2-2.
2-2. Even after extra time, Millwall went down to 10-minute extra time and then subsequently lost on penalties 4-5 to Brighton. I mean, can we say that Millwall got complacent, or are we saying that Brighton were amazing, or are we blaming it all on Millwall's keeper?
I think the first goal was fantastic. Brighton's first one was fantastic. The turn, and he's absolutely smashed it into
the net. Yes.
But then the second one, he's got to do a lot better than that. Like a lot better. I mean, it was going wide, and he's touched his hand and gone in the corner.
Yeah, it looks like it's going wide from the angle.
Yeah,
and then. We were saying yesterday the David Seaman
David
obviously
Seaman.
He's got his hands apart trying to catch the ball at the sides and it's gone straight through. It's just a horrible moment.
The question really is should he have just left it, or should he have pushed it over the bar wide? What?
Should he just caught it?
Probably caught it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
There are a million things to do. Also, obviously Shane Ferguson, his red card in extra time, horrible. It's horrible. Like scrape right down the back of the calf, definite red card. But when he got like started on for doing that by Lewis Dunk, who is like 6'3", built like a brick shed house. Ferguson isn't tall; he's like 5'6", 5'7". He looked ready for it. He was proper Millwall. He was like, "Yeah, come on!" And obviously he got his marching orders. But the really funny thing is Shane Ferguson's their best penalty taker apparently.
And he bottled it,
and he got sent off.
He bottled the penalty once he gets sent off.
Yeah, so I mean, unlucky for Millwall. They weren't bad, but Premier League bouncing on. Tom, you must be frustrated because if you'd actually beat Brighton, who were terrible in your game, you might have had a chance.
We might have had a chance, yeah. But then again, it's just like, would the draw have worked out like that? Anyway, we could have easily got Man City or whatever. So
anyway, Brighton have won 8 of their last 9 penalty shootouts, which is incredible. That's brilliant. That's really good. That's very good. Even with Glenn Murray, their best player, missing his first one, which was really bad. That was a bad pen.
It was awful.
That was so clean off the crossbar.
It was such a bad pen. And it's only the second time in Brighton's history that they've reached the FA Cup semi-final, which is. Go Brighton, yeah! We'll go for the last and most boring one. Watford Palace, 2-1. It was an even game. Just Palace lacked quality because Wilfried Zaha didn't play because he was injured.
They made 8 changes, didn't they?
Palace
made 8 changes.
They made 8 changes from the league, but it still looked like a league. It was a league starting 11. It was a quality team. They played Batshuayi, they played Townsend, they played Maya, they played Milinojevic, they played Sacco, they played Speroni. So they brought on Wan-Bissaka after 60 minutes. They had a Premier League quality team against Watford, who in the week that we missed, unfortunately, they made 8 changes against Man City in the league and got absolute butchered for it. And then they brought all their 8 players back and they were fresh as a fiddle and did the business. So yeah, I thought it was probably, if Wilfried Zaha was there, it might have been a bit different. But he's out for the next 2 weeks anyway, so shame for them. Is the FA Cup back, do you think, guys?
See, I'm not sure, because you look at the teams in the semi-final, they're all Premier League teams, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, they are.
But the only big team in there are Man City.
Yeah,
there's no Arsenal, there's no Chelsea. There's just like, you want, realistically, your final, you want like a Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Man City.
Yeah,
I personally think so.
I think you can forgive Arsenal and Chelsea. Obviously, they played. Obviously, Arsenal got knocked out by Man United.
Yeah, and Chelsea got knocked out by City.
Yeah. So I mean, they put out strong teams for those games, but obviously you look at Liverpool and you think, they really put a strong, because big teams aren't as respective as the FA Cup as they used to be.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you need the respect back from the big clubs for it to be back being a good trophy.
But that we've talked about Arsenal and Chelsea, they put decent teams out against other teams who just beat them. Liverpool situation I feel is different.
Isn't for me the FA Cup's all about smaller teams getting through to these later rounds, and we've had that. We've had Millwall, who were not a big team. We've had Swansea, who are not a big team, get through to these rounds. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, but realistically, are any of these teams going to win it? Are they going to beat Man City?
Well, Wigan did.
About that, I know.
Wigan did. So why can't we? That's the purpose of the FA Cup. Surely, is that anyone can win. Yeah?
Yeah, anyone can win.
Yeah? Right, anyway, the semi-final draw obviously got made. It is Manchester City, Brighton, obviously going to be at Wembley. And then that'll be on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, we have Watford versus Wolves, which I think is going to be a brilliant tie. I think that'll be a really good game. And that will be played on the 6th and 7th, retrospectively, of April, which will be a good weekend for FA Cup fixtures. And we will preview that in 2 weeks' time. Moving on. There were actually some Premier League fixtures that happened this week. There were some good Premier League fixtures that happened this weekend, and I never thought I'd have to say this, but when we are starting a Premier League fixture with the game versus West Ham versus Huddersfield, something mad happened, don't you?
Yeah.
You really do. 4-3 was the final score to West Ham United, and they scored 2 goals in the 84th and 91st minute, retrospectively. Wow. What a game this was. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about anybody else. I thought it was really good. No? Did any of you watch it?
Didn't watch it, no. I've seen the highlights for it.
Yeah.
Just those teams, aren't they? They both concede a lot of goals all the time, and this game is going to happen to carry that trend on.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Huddersfield, taking the lead, and you think, here we go. I mean, even I put, is the Great Escape coming? And then you felt for them a bit when
their manager was fuming
when
at the end.
When you let that lead go, and obviously, and then not even to get a point out of the game. No. It just felt awful for them.
They've struggled to score all season. You score 3 in one game away from home and you still get beat.
This is the first time this season that they've scored more than 2 goals away from home, or any time this season.
Exactly.
And they still got beat, and they were 3-1 up. At some point, they were 3-1 up, which is just mad. But they're down. They really are. I'm really worried about Huddersfield. I think they might not. They're not coming straight back up, but
no, they will struggle.
I'm problematic about them in the Championship next season as well, because I can't see any flourish from them. But we'll keep an eye on them. It's the first time in the Olympic Stadium since West Ham have moved that they've won 3 at home, 3 in a row at home. That is, which is. It's nice for them.
Yeah,
they're settling into their new home ground. What I noticed from the game was there were a lot more bubbles. Like their song is They have the famous bubble song and the bubble chant and everything like that. We've all watched Green Street, and there are so many more bubbles. Like before, they'd just play a little bit before, and it'd be a couple of times. There's loads. There's like 4 at each side, just like constantly firing out bubbles. And you see like shots of just loads of bubbles surrounding like Stern Pellegrini, just stood there like he doesn't have a clue why he's here. Anyway, we'll move on. The second game of the weekend that was great, Newcastle Bournemouth 2-2. Yeah. We were robbed. Let's just say that. It was the Mike Dean show yet again. We went 1-0 up after a Solomon Rondon free kick in the depths of the first half. Excuse me. Which was a sublime free kick. Both of you have seen it. Very good free kick. Matt Ritchie knew it was in before it went in. And the thing that really annoyed me was obviously Almiron was through, as he's been doing since he came. He's just been storming up the field, and he's brilliant. He's fantastic, and he really, really has given energy to that team. And the Bournemouth player brought him down outside of the area before he could get anywhere closer and beat him for pace, but the Bournemouth player didn't even get booked. That's a booking. If you bring someone down before they go outside the area, it's a booking there. He didn't get booked for that challenge. Don't matter, we scored from it. Second half, penalty was really soft. It was an elbow into Nathan Ake from a header, and Nathan Ake went down. Mike Dean pointed it. We've seen them given, but not consistently. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. About a month before, we had one denied from us at Wolves when Bolly elbowed Jose Perez in the head. They're not given when we complain about it. Josh King is brilliant at penalties, whatever. Then he scored in the 81st minute, which was a good goal. It was a good goal, composed. We were poor defensively. The 85th minute then comes, and there is a clear back pass from Charlie Daniels to Boric, which is missed by Mike Dean, and it's not a clear back pass from like the edge of the penalty area. It's on the 6-yard box, and that's not given. So you give that. What happens? You never know. Blah blah blah. There was a claim that Yedlin could have had a penalty from a cross where he did it. He got taken down as he was crossing the ball. Yes, no, I've seen them given. I haven't seen them given, but who cares? Matt Ritchie, 2-1 down, last kick of the game. Boom! Thunderbolt, back post, left foot strike. Ex-Bournemouth player. Have it.
Did he celebrate?
Yes. Yes, he did.
I like that.
Yes, he did.
I like that.
He did not give a damn. He celebrated. There was a mass pile-on, and there were 6 fans arrested because they jumped on the pitch. And it wasn't like fan invasion or like angry or anything like that. It was celebration invasion. Which, do we condone or are we for that?
Love that.
I love that. Yeah,
I love that. But yes, fans should stay in their seats and not invade the pitch and endanger themselves with players or endanger players' lives or anything like that. But when it's celebrating, it's a little bit different. Last minute as well. Proper last minute. 6 fans got arrested and they're probably banned from football for a while. But draw against Bournemouth, I'll take it. We're completely safe. The funny stat that I showed the pair of you yesterday, which both of you laughed at, is that at this point, like last season, we have the exact same points, wins, goal difference, goals against, goals for. It's incredible. I love it. I think it's brilliant. That's called consistency in the Rafa Benitez project. Will we keep him? I don't know. I hope so. And yeah, push on to the next season, really. Any other thoughts about Newcastle, fellas?
Yeah, as you said, they're safe now. They've got nothing to worry about. It's just
building on it.
Yeah, just keeping the players you've got now and just building on it.
Who was it that you said supported Newcastle? There was a big keeper that
Iker Casillas.
Iker Casillas is a Newcastle fan. I love it. Right, we'll move on to the last 3. We'll round them up nice and quickly. We say that there's a big game. It's Liverpool-Fulham. Liverpool were comfortable, but you kind of had this nagging feeling that Fulham might get something from this until the penalty, which was super soft. It was the definition of a soft penalty, was converted by James Milner in the 81st minute. We saw Virgil van Dijk is human as well, boys, with this mistake. Any thoughts?
Obviously, they didn't kill the game, Liverpool. You went into the game thinking, Liverpool, Fulham, they should win this easily. As up to how many goals is going to be, really, instead of thinking, oh God, they might concede here. If that's Man City, they probably concede. If it's probably Man City, they probably go on to win, by 4 or 5 goals, and that's the only difference between the two teams at the top, is the ability to kill off games. I feel anyway. Yeah,
they need to be a lot more lethal. Like, they've got Salah and Mane, who have been firing this season, but they just can't. When it's important, they don't seem to finish teams off.
Well, I counter that then. Salah hasn't scored in 7 games now.
Yeah.
So that's not. Sorry, that is not true. Mane is firing on all cylinders. Fabinho's doing fine. Salah's okay. He's still scored 17 this season, but he hasn't scored in 7. Whereas we flip that to their title challengers, Manchester City. Aguero, Sterling, and Sane have all scored within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
last 2 weeks. Sane scored midweek. Aguero scored midweek. Aguero scored a hat trick this month. Was player of the month last month, and Sterling scored a hat trick last week. We talk about that, and then we talk about the flip side. Liverpool were lucky to get a penalty and scored it because of James Milner. Yeah, we also talked that they don't have enough goals coming from midfield. Bernardo Silva scored 15 goals this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the top player that Liverpool have scored is 5, and that's all James Milner penalties. I possibly can't see how they're going to win the league. I just can't do it.
Liverpool team, they always line up with the 3. Normally it's Henderson, Fabinho and Wijnaldum in there. And 2 of those are effectively holding midfielders.
Yeah.
And Wijnaldum doesn't score enough goals. He's good.
He's incredible.
Goals.
He's a very good player.
I think there's a huge difference as well between the way they play European nights and teams in Premier League. Because, I mean, they tore Bayern Munich apart, really. Yeah, after that first goal went in.
We'll get onto the Bayern Munich again, but yeah.
Yeah. But I feel there's this difference. It's just, I don't know, they just enjoy playing against bigger opposition, and when they get into the Premier League games against the lesser teams, they just, I don't know, do they try too hard? And it's just they try to walk the ball into the net.
Or is it they don't try hard enough and they don't go full throttle every single game like we do see Manchester City do? Does that make sense?
I know what you mean. It's just, they just it feels like they're just trying to play too good football than they need to get the results, to ground out results.
Okay. We'll move on to Leicester. The Brendan Rodgers revolution has begun. They beat Burnley 2-1. Harry Maguire was sent off in the 3rd minute?
Fourth minute around.
Fourth minute, and Wes Morgan was subbed on, and then when Wes Morgan scored in the 90th minute, he broke a Premier League record as the most time from being subbed on to then scoring, because the previous record was 8 minutes and scoring in the 80th minute, and now the record is from the 3rd to the 90th. So. There we go. That's an unusual stat for you. But Maguire red card, was it red card?
Harsh. I see why ref's giving it, but it's still very, very harsh.
Adam? Yeah, it's one of those, 5 years, it probably is given a red.
Thing is, it is a free kick because he has tripped him up intentionally or not, but he's the last man, so he has to go.
Yeah.
So it's so harsh.
It's not harsh. He's the last man. He's tangled his legs with him, and it's a red card. He knew what he was doing.
No, I think it's unintentional.
You think it's unintentional?
Unintentional.
So then, for unintentional or not, should he be given a yellow card or a red card for it, whatever?
He's last man, even though he's not meant to do it. It's still a free kick, even though he's not meant to do it. But it should be a red card because he's last man.
Yeah. Yeah?
I'd say red. But it's one of those.
I can see it being like next season. I can see one of them happening again. VAR taking a look at it, overturning it, and then booking him. I can see that happening. I really can. Dwight McNeil scored for Burnley. Anybody have any clue who he is?
Yeah, he started the season. He started the season against Aberdeen, didn't he, in the European games?
Did he?
He played really well. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. Has he been injured then? Probably.
I think so. I think he's been injured a few games.
What I really like about Leicester now, and we've seen obviously James Maddison scored 2 free kicks, which is the first ever. His first ever player to score two free kicks in a season for Leicester City, which I thought was mad. Like, how have you not had a player score more than 2 free kicks for you in a season? I thought Riyad Mahrez had at least scored more than that in the Premier League winning season. I thought they had. But anyway, if you look at their front 5 now, or the team that they played against Burnley, and this is what I think Brendan Rodgers has done really well, is it's Jamie Vardy obviously leading the line. Harry Barnes, James Maddison, Yuri Timmermans and Demarai Gray. That is frightening. Like, that is terrifying. I do not want to play against that. I do not want that against my team. I don't. That is, oh my god, that's lights out. And then you obviously got Ndidi in front of the 3 there, in front of the back 4, sorry, and then you've got obviously your back 4 that's incredible. Pereira is a really good right back this season. Ben Chilwell's probably going to be England's left back. Harry Maguire is England's centre back. Johnny Evans is international Northern Ireland and is captain, I think he is, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. And then Kasper Schmeichel's the Danish captain.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He is the Danish captain, isn't he?
I'm sure he is.
Yes, he is. He's the Danish captain. I've just googled it. So that Leicester are a team that's sorted, and they will be scary next season. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Top half, definitely.
Yeah. I think they'll be top half, but I don't think they'll do anything massive.
No, I don't think Europe, no.
No. They'll finish between 7th and 10th within that bracket.
Okay, I think Europe still. I'm going for 6th. I'm going 6th. Sodges, I don't. Sorry, I'm going 6th. The last bottom game on there, Everton Chelsea. Everton won 2-0. Chelsea were very poor second half, and Everton scored a penalty where Gilfred Sigurdsson missed it, and then scored the rebound. It was a pen. It was a penalty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty. I did think Kepa had a very good game though. Although they lost 2-0, I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, he pulled off some important saves.
Yeah, big important saves. And it's the first time Chelsea have lost at Goodison Park since 2013, where they lost 2-0. That's mad. That's a very good record for Chelsea against Goodison Park. Gone up a pan with that in a flash of smoke.
Time for Sarri to go now.
Do you think?
I think it's a good time to. If you're going to do it now.
Yeah.
If not, wait till the end of the season.
Well, there's still. We'll obviously get onto the Europa League later when we cover the Champions League. I'm adding that now because it's not on my sheet because we always forget about the Europa League. But that's a problem for another day. But they're in a good position in the Europa League. They still have a chance of finishing top 4. I wouldn't can them till the end of the season. Because if they don't win the Europa League, they're not in the Champions League, obviously. Yeah. And if they don't finish top 4, they're not in the Champions League.
No, so yeah. I could see why they would sack him now just because of how poor they have been. But I understand about Europa League. They've got to play Slavia Prague.
You can't say they've been poor when they won 5-0 in midweek. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they have been poor of late.
They've been poor in the league. They haven't been Chelsea, but they're no longer Chelsea. Do you understand what I mean there? They are not the Chelsea we know. The Chelsea from 2000 to 2015 are gone. That 15-year dynasty does not exist anymore. We are talking about Man United post-Alex Ferguson type stuff with Chelsea now. That they need a full rebuild. In my opinion, they need to just lock everything down, not win any trophies, and still have a full rebuild. And that's my Chelsea rant for the day. Done. Because you guys get annoyed when I rant Chelsea. I apologise, fellas. I really do. Anything else for the Premier League, gentlemen?
I think we've covered everything.
You think you've covered everything? Brilliant. I'm just going to quickly, when my computer very quickly loads. I'm sorry, this is very unprofessional of us all. Right, we'll run through the table very quickly. Liverpool 2 points clear of the table with Man City have a game in hand, although the top 4 race is heating up with Chelsea on 6 at 57, Man United on 5th on 58. Spurs are in 3rd on 61 and Arsenal are in 4th on 60. So there is literally 4 points between 4 teams. It's mad. The 7th race is also heating up with West Ham, Leicester, Wolves, Watford and Everton, and there's 4 points between them lot as well. And then Bournemouth and Newcastle are officially irrelevant, which is great, and I love the fact that we're officially irrelevant. I absolutely do. Palace are on 33, Brighton are also on 33, Southampton on 30, so are Burnley, and Cardiff are in the drop zone on 28. So it is very tight down there as well. But Fulham and Huddersfield are on 17 and 14, and in my opinion, they are down. Yep.
Yeah, it's that last spot.
Cardiff or Burnley?
Cardiff.
Southampton's still there as well. Cardiff, I reckon.
I'm going to go a little bit out of the blue here, fellas, and I'm going to go Burnley. No? Adam's shaking his head at me. He disagrees. Right, we'll run through the fixtures. This week's early kickoff is Fulham Man City at Craven Cottage. And the Saturday 3 o'clock games are as follow: Crystal Palace Huddersfield, Leicester Bournemouth, Man United Watford, Burnley Wolves, Brighton Southampton, and that's pretty good actually. Saturday 3 o'clock games, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. Leicester will beat Bournemouth. Man United will draw with Watford, and Wolves will beat Burnley. Brighton Southampton will also be a draw. Yeah.
I think Man United will win.
You think Man United will win? Late kickoff is Everton West Ham. The battle for 7th is heating up there, and obviously it depends on what happens with Man United Watford earlier on. That can get even closer. The early kickoff on Sunday is Cardiff Chelsea, and the late kickoff, is Liverpool Spurs, and that's obviously on Sunday as well. there. Spurs have only got a 3-day turnaround before their game at Crystal Palace. They play on Tuesday. There. Why does that say 11 o'clock? It shouldn't say 11 o'clock. Is that just a friendly? That's weird.
What's that?
Spurs Crystal Palace on the 2nd.
8:15 kickoff.
8:15. It says 11 o'clock on my sheet of paper here. I don't know why. I'm silly. And Newcastle are away at the Emirates on Monday Night Football. I think we'll get beat there.
I think you'll draw.
No,
I think you'll get a point.
Arsenal are very good at home.
They are good at home, but I still think you'll get a point.
They're very good at home. Anyway, because we were away last week, we missed the Championship. And a lot happened because there were a lot of midweek fixtures in the Championship. We know we were at one. We went to the Derby Stoke game, which is the one I'm going to talk about last because it was the worst. It was awful. Oh, it was one of the worst games of football I've seen this year, Adam. It was terrible, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, I predicted it because every game I've been to that hasn't involved Vale, every league game has been 0-0, and it's continued. So.
Right, so we'll quickly recap the midweek fixtures. Bristol City drew at Ipswich. We'll get onto Ipswich later because they've been drawing machines. Drop points for Bristol City though. That's bad for them. Blackburn beat Wigan. Good result for Blackburn. They won 3-0. Sheffield United won 2-0 at Brentford. Bolton lost to Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. First goal for Orlando Aarons for Sheffield Wednesday in that one. Newcastle United lone watch. And what? Reading got beat by Leeds away. Away. Notts Forest got beat by Aston Villa 3-1. Middlesbrough dropped points again at Preston. Millwall set up the weekend nicely with a 2-0 win at Birmingham. QPR lost to Rotherham. As we mentioned, Derby Stoke 0-0. Norwich in a nail-biter against Hull City was 3-2. And West Brom proved that they do not need Darren Moore and won 3-0 at Swansea. So, yeah. That did not, it wasn't really anything magical that happened apart from obviously Borough dropping points. But then we get to the weekend and Sheffield United proving they belong with the big boys by going to Elland Road and beating Leeds. And Pontus Johansson going in goal as well. Was brilliant.
Johansson was incredible.
That was brilliant. That was really funny. Casilla, the online goalkeeper for Real Madrid, got sent off thanks to a last man challenge where he came out and took out the Sheffield United winger that was running up the pitch, whose name I forget, and it's gone out of my head and I'm not going to remember it. It might have been McBride, but I think that's incorrect. Anyway, and Chris Basham scored for them. So, good win for Sheffield United.
Great win for Sheffield United.
Very good win for Sheffield United. Very happy with Sheffield United, actually. They, they're proving me that they are going to be very good. So the top three looks like this now. Norwich, they're winning the league. They're first on 78 points. Sheffield United is second on 74, and Leeds are in third on 73. What do we think, boys? What's going on with the top of the Championship?
Norwich and Sheffield United will get those last two spots. I think Leeds have been inconsistent of late. They've lost it. QPR, I believe, they've lost against Sheffield United at home, which was a massive game. They needed to at least get a point out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking Leeds, and then I've kind of edged my way away from them, and I've gone to Sheffield United.
They're just plucky, aren't they? They're brilliant. I like Sheffield United.
I mean, they've won 10 games unbeaten now,
yeah.
And they've only drawn 3 of them.
Yeah, they're a very, very good team.
They work hard. That's the thing.
Yep. We'll get into Bolton because I'm upset for Bolton. They lost 5-2 at the weekend. Sammy Amiobi, also ex-Newcastle player, scored for Bolton, and they didn't matter because they lost 5-2. I was going to say, did they miss Will Grigg? But obviously not, because they're still on fire. So, yeah, Tom, give us a rundown of Bolton, please.
Well, tomorrow they've got a winding up order coming in, which is apparently the case since last week, as the new owners have pulled the plug. So it doesn't look good for Bolton. They look like they could be getting completely disbanded out of the EFL.
So for people that do not know what a winding up order is, please explain for that.
So they're going to go into administration, and then they've got no money left. So they're going to end up going completely bust. And they're going to have to reform and start again from the very bottom.
Yeah. Which would be sad.
Which it would be so sad for any club, for it to happen to any club, apart from in Adam's case, he's like, he'll be happy if not it happens to not guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, the 10-point deduction for administration will do. They have to go out of business. That would do, the administration.
But surely that if this happens and the winding up order goes through, then it won't matter what happens, because somebody will just be able to go in and go, "You're mine now," and pay off all the debts of them, and surely just do it.
I mean, not if
unless it's like a £50 million debt and they won't even touch
that's it. That's I mean, how much someone wants the club. Obviously, if it's loads of debt and you're not too interested, you're not going to buy it, and obviously it'll go away. It'd be much easier to just start again with not having to pay the debt off.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
I mean, if no one comes in,
is anyone going to be that interested in buying the club for that however much money it's going to cost? Because it's not just going to be how big is the debt? We don't. Well, I don't know.
No, it's not been published. That's the thing. It's not been published, so we can speculate all we want. But until Bolton decide to publish it, there, and I feel for Bolton fans, I really do. But these kind of things happen when you've got an absolute tosser for an owner. Excuse me, but he is a tosser.
It's happening all the time now. It's happening at Blackpool, Charlton. Yeah. It's happening with you at Port Vale, Newcastle. You haven't got the best of owners, but at least you're not.
Well, we're not going bust. I tell you that for free.
So that's all right.
I feel for you, Bolton. I really do. We were so positive a couple of weeks ago when it was announced that they were getting a new owner, weren't we? We were really buzzing for them, but never mind. We'll move on. Hull City drew 2-2 with QPR at the week. Good result for QPR. Sheffield Wednesday beat Blackburn to push on for them playoffs hopes. Norwich beat Rotherham, which is where I got my fan mixed up there. West Brom beat Brentford, and Ipswich drew again.
Yeah, the 6-1 draw in the last 7 games. So,
and what was the other result on that? It was a 2-1 loss. And the second goal came in the last minute, which would have been a 1-1 draw, and it would have been 7-1 draws. That would have been crazy if they had 7-1 draws in a row. Do you know what? If they draw 1-1 the weekend, it will be a league record. No one has ever drawn 1-1 8 times in the last 9 games. So yeah, that's that. Preston still pushing on for them playoffs, but Birmingham take a back seat because why do they take a back seat, Mr. Adam Swindles?
Looks like they're getting a 12-point reduction for breaking rules on transfer regulations, spending more money than is coming into the club. Yep. They've it wouldn't be as big as 12, but because they've continued to do it, that's why it's grown. It looks like it could be delayed to next season. I mean, they might have a choice in whether it comes this season or next season. They do it now. There's 2 points from relegation. Do it next season, you start at -12. So it's a bit of a debate. Yep. What would you guys pick?
I'd take it now. Yeah. Happily take it now.
No, actually, I'm not sure, because 2 points isn't a lot, to go into the last few games of the season.
They've got to look at it. They've got 3 teams down there in the last 3 games. Yeah. So you've got to wait up and say, "Oh, we're going to beat them." Yeah. That's all they got. That's all they got to think. But
personally, I'd take it now.
I'd take it now.
Personally, I would take it now. You've got the not only the fans, the players are all riled up. They're like, "This is rubbish. Why are we doing this? This is ridiculous." Yeah, hands up, hold up your stuff. Say, "Yep, we did wrong. We did bad." Blah 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 blah. But tell you what, you do it. They're still all piled in. Gary Monk's an excellent man manager. You do it. You just go, right, sod it. Let's go, and they do it. I think they'll stay up.
I think they'd stay up if they took it now. Yeah. I mean, they've got Shea Adams up front. Next season, if they take -12, it'll be gone.
You think so?
He'll be gone. He'll be gone to the Premier League, or he'll be gone to a top Championship side. He's not going to stick around and get relegated with Birmingham City back down to League One.
Can you see if Sheffield United got promoted? Could you see Sheffield United buying him?
Yeah, don't see why not.
He's one of the top goal scorers in the league.
He's been there before. United, yeah.
There we go. Simple. Yeah. No, Tom says is right. They're at risk of getting their squad pilfered for this -12 thing, and that will be all that anyone can talk about in the off season is that Birmingham will start on at -12.
Yeah, and what money they're going to have to spend. Yeah. Because I'm sure FFP, the cycle starts again this summer, so you can spend essentially what you want again. Yeah. But I do think everyone will leave.
All right then. So, and obviously with the Aston Villa win, they won 3-0. Jack Grealish is very, very pivotal to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Very, very pivotal. I think he'll leave in the summer.
Yeah, where do you think he'll go?
I still think Spurs. Still think Spurs makes the most sense for him because they need more players.
I could see Christian Eriksen leaving Spurs and Grealish taking that spot there.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
100%. That would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form. It would make sense completely, and it would just cement Aston Villa as a selling club, which they are. Screw Aston Villa. Right, we'll run through the table. First, Norwich City are on top with 78. We've been through the top three, but I'll do it again. Second, Sheffield United, 74. Third, Leeds, 73. West Brom are sitting in fourth. Irrelevant, really. They've got the playoffs sorted. They're not going to push into them automatics, but they will stay in the playoffs. This is where it gets interesting. Fifth, Middlesbrough on 58. Sixth, and in that last playoff spot at the moment, are Aston Villa on 57. Seventh, also on 57, is Preston. Eighth, on 56, is Derby. Ninth, on 55, is Bristol. 10th, on 55, is Sheffield Wednesday. 11th, on 54, is Nottingham Forest. That is a joke. That's not cool, bro. That's really not cool. That's 6 points. No, 3 points, sorry. From 6th to 11th. That's not cool.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. The thing is, I was talking to Adam earlier, and the Easter, you've got 2 games back to back, Friday, Monday.
Yeah.
That makes or break your season.
Definitely.
I think that'll be where we see. I think it'll go to, we've got 7 teams going for 2 spots now.
Yeah.
I think we'll see it go down to 4. By that point, I think we'll see by going down to 4 teams realistically getting their last 2 spots. And I do think, as much as I want it to be Derby to get one, I think it'll be Preston and Villa that get them both.
I mean, I see it staying how it is, but just a mix up of the order, as in terms of those 4 playoff spots.
Okay, because with the teams there, Middlesbrough have got to play Stoke, Villa have got to play Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday have got Norwich, you guys have got Birmingham, you guys being Norwich, and Nottingham Forest have Sheffield United. That's on the 19th.
Yeah,
that's the Friday.
That's the Friday. Good Friday, yeah.
And then the Monday, Villa have got Millwall, you've got QPR, Birmingham have got Rotherham, Forest have Middlesbrough, and that's Preston have Wigan, and Bristol City have Sheffield Wednesday.
See, Bristol City, Sheffield Wednesday. That'll knock one of those 2 out of the race.
You think that's it?
Yeah, for them? I think that'll be.
Well, Sheffield Wednesday, if they lose both the Norwich game and the Bristol City game, they're out of it.
Exactly.
And Bristol, they have Reading, so they realistically need 2 wins out of that, and they can be pushing on for that. Anyway, I understand what your point is. We'll look more into that in another time. There are not midweek games this week, but there is a Friday game, and it is West Brom Birmingham. That'll be on telly. None of us will watch it.
When's that?
This week. No, it's not.
There can't be now.
No, it's next week. No, it is. Yeah, it's this weekend. No, there's.
It's an international break.
It's an international break. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, it's an international break, so no fixtures for the next 2 weeks. I've read the Premier League fixtures as well, not remembering that it's an international break. Yeah. But yeah, then Premier League fixtures are going to be after the thing. But yeah, so we'll recap them when we can. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the thing. International break. We'll get more into the international break anyway. Let's move on. League One, the league that none of us really care about because nobody has any merit in it. Sorry, League One fans, but we don't really care about you. There was a midweek one last week. Bradford got beat by Luton Town 1-0. AFC Wimbledon, the escape is on. They beat Peterborough. Coventry beat Fleetwood 2-1. Plymouth Argyle beat Shrewsbury 2-1. Scunthorpe United beat Southend 4-1. Bristol Rovers beat Gillingham 1-0. Rochdale Oxford was a scoreboard draw. And Blackpool Doncaster was 1-1. Charlton beat Burton 2-1. Walsall got beat last minute by Portsmouth 3-2. And Accrington Stanley, yeah, Adam's yawning at the fact that I'm reading this because no one cares about League One. Wickham got beat by Accrington Stanley, and Barnsley Sunderland, the big top heavy table draw to decide who gets that last final automatic spot, was a 0-0 draw.
And then Barnsley drew 0-0 again.
Yes, they did. Coming the weekend, we go to the weekend, and they drew 0-0 with Doncaster. Yeah, Luton also slipped up. They drew 2-2 at Gillingham. Portsmouth beat Scunthorpe. Sunderland beat Walsall 2-1 because they're now actually deciding they want to get promoted. Oxford beat Bradford City 1-0. Coventry beat Peterborough 2-1 because for Coventry there. Shrewsbury beat Wickham 2-1. Fleetwood beat Plymouth 2-0. Scoreboard draw versus Bristol Rovers Charlton. Points dropped for Charlton in that playoff race. Definitely big time. The escaping continues for AFC Wimbledon as they won 1-0 at Southend. And the last one is Nigel Clough's. No, it's not. It is Nigel Clough, isn't it? Yeah. Nigel Clough's Burton Albion beat Blackpool 3-0. And here's a really good thing. 3,000 Blackpool fans went down to that game.
Love that.
Absolute love that. And in the midweek game, sorry, I didn't mention it. When Blackpool played in the midweek game, they drew 2-2. It was a sellout crowd.
17,000.
Yep, sellout.
Nice.
So change owners, get rid of your owners. Boom, your club is back. And it's brilliant because before, what was their average attendance this season? Anybody know?
3,000.
3,000 average attendance.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference.
Absolute mad. They've been wanting them out for years, though. They really have.
14,000 fans coming back, though.
Yeah, that
is mental. That is mental.
If you want to send a message, you don't go to games. So yeah, that's the only thing that we really need to talk about with them. We'll recap the table and have a look. At the top of the table, Luton are top, still 5 points clear, even though they have drawn 3 of their last 5, and they're on 80 points. Barnsley are in second with 75, although they've also drawn 3 out of their last 5. League One, man, it's mad. It's worse than you lot in League Two, mate. It really is.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I really would. Sunderland, they're not just as bad. They've only drawn 2 out of their last 5. They're in third on 73. Portsmouth, they're even better. They've only drawn 1 out of their last 5, and they're on 71. Charlton slipped up. They are obviously in 5th on 67. That top 5 are safe, and there is no problems within their playoffs because when we go down, there is a 10-point gap between Doncaster and Charlton because Doncaster are on 57 in 6th, and that's the last playoff place there. Coventry are in 7th on 56, Peterborough in 8th on 55, Blackpool in 9th on 53, and Fleetwood in 10th on 52. So again, really quite tight in that playoff race, but tight, in my opinion, it's only between them 3 teams.
Yeah,
Donny, Coventry, and Peterborough.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I think Blackpool need another season to rebuild. Joey Barton's Fleetwood also need another season to rebuild and do that, and then we'll wait and see what goes on with them there. In the relegation race, Bradford City have only won 1 out of their last 7 games and are now dead bottom on 36. Rochdale, again, they've won and drawn 1 out of their last 8 games, and they're in 23rd on 38 points. AFC Wimbledon take up the last relegation spot now, but obviously they've won their last 3, so they're doing pretty well at the moment.
4 spots are in the relegation.
Yeah. Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, League One, you're weird. So, yeah, because the top 3 go up, don't they? So 3 go up, 4. Right, okay, that's fine. And Walsall take that last spot with 42. So Wimbledon only have 3 points left to get out. Because Southend United are also on 42, Oxford are on 43, so are Shrewsbury, Scunny are on 44, Gillingham are also on 44, Stanley are on 44, Wickham are on 44, Bristol are on 44, and Plymouth are on 45.
It's crazy.
That's an absolute joke. That's 5 points from 12th to 21st. No, it's 3 points. 3 points, sorry. Why did I say 5? 3 points. I can't do maths today, let alone even speak. That's crazy. This is why I don't like League One. That. How can you be a fan of any of them clubs?
That's exciting, though, isn't it?
No, oh man, that's not even squeaky bum time. That's turtle heading. Let's just be what's good. Yeah,
we've not seen anything like that before.
No, I've never seen anything like that before. I really haven't.
All it takes is win 2 games, 3 games on the bounce, and you're safe.
That shows how up and down League One can be with the teams coming down from the Championship. Obviously, they've still got loads of money, so they're going to be up there. That's what happens with League One. You've got all the big teams coming from the Championship who then maybe don't get promoted but have still got all the money, and then the smaller teams coming from League Two, and there's such a divide between money and terms. So obviously, all the big teams top of the table, they're beating all the teams below, and they're not really getting much points against the big teams. So it's all the lower teams are just level on similar points, really.
Apart from Luton, who just blow your entire analogy out the water. Or Barnsley as well, actually. They weren't in the Championship last season, were they?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they got relegated.
So was it Barnsley, Sunderland and Burton that got relegated last season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and they don't actually have an international break, do they?
No, not
they don't. So they've got Saturday games. Right, let's recap the Saturday game. God, I hate League One so much. Let's recap the Saturday games for them. We've got Walsall Barnsley, and they're on the early kickoff. They're not on tally. Shrewsbury Portsmouth, Burton Stanley, Rochdale Scunny, Luton Donny, Plymouth Argyle versus Bristol Rovers, Peterborough Southend, AFC Wimbledon Gillingham, big game. Very big game down there. Coventry Oxford, Bradford Blackpool. That's unfortunately not a home game for Blackpool though. So sorry, Blackpool fans, you can't go to that game. Well, you can if you travel away, but there'll only be like 3,000 of you. Anyway, all of them are really big games because everybody in League One is really close to each other apparently. Because I don't like League One.
And there's one midweek game in League One as well.
That's on Tuesday.
On Tuesday in Doncaster, Bristol Rovers.
Yeah, that's a big game for them actually. Yeah, because Donny need to bounce back and win, don't they? League Two. We'll go to our League Two sponsor and reporter, Mr. Adam Swindles. League Two.
Oh yeah, so big week in midweek for League Two. Obviously, a lot of chopping and changing. Obviously, for us, I mean, that midweek for Port Vale, I'm just looking at it, that's probably the biggest result in terms of the bottom of the table.
Definitely.
3-0 against Yeovil, relegation rivals. That puts them back into it, especially their result on the weekend. So we'll just go through them. So Cambridge 0-0 with Crewe.
Yep.
Carlisle lost 3-1 to Notts County.
They did.
Colchester lost 3-0 to Forest Green Rovers.
Yep.
Crawley and Mansfield drew 0-0.
Yep.
Lincoln beat Oldham 2-0. Morecambe beat MK Dons 4-2, a really surprising one. Northampton beat Newport 1-0. Obviously Port Vale beat Yeovil 3-0. Stevenage beat Swindon 2-0, and Tranmere beat Grimsby 4-1.
Yeah.
Tranmere, that was a big one for them, getting up there with the promotion playoffs. You'd say obviously they were in there before the game, and now they're really cemented their position in the playoffs now. 61 points, 4 points from Colchester in 8th place, the one position outside of that. And then we go into the weekend games, which, again, a decent result for us, but the weather caused havoc. 2 games postponed.
That was the Bury-Cambridge United game, and what was the other one?
It was Oldham, I think we're playing Tranmere.
Right, okay, that's fine.
That's fine, so good for them again. Crawley lost 6-1 away to Crewe. That we talked about yesterday. Crewe scoring, was it
5 goals in 11 minutes?
5 goals in 11 minutes.
Yep.
Shocking. Exeter beat Colchester 3-0. Forest Green drew 1-0 with Carlisle. Grimsby drew 0-0 with Northampton. MK Dons drew 1-0 with Stevenage. Notts County drew 0-0 with Morecambe. Swindon drew 0-0 with Port Vale, and Macclesfield beat Yeovil 2-0. That one's big. That really makes the relegation battle a bit more open. Obviously, if Yeovil had won that, 39 points, Macclesfield would have still been on 30. So it really opens it up. I feel 47 is the cut-off. You get 47 points, you're safe. So I feel we need 6 more wins.
That's a really, really, that's massive in terms of the difference, right? Because you look at the Premier League. What's the Premier League magic number?
40.
40.
Well, obviously, it's a lot. That's 8 less games you play in the Premier League. So obviously,
would it be exactly the same with magic number 47? Do you think, if we still played the exact same amount of games as you lot?
No, I think it'd probably go down. Obviously,
I think it would as well. I think it would be worse. I think it'd be like 30.
Yeah, I think so. It depends, because obviously you have really poor teams coming up from non-league.
Yep.
And then sometimes you have teams with money. Obviously, looks like Salford might be in the playoff position.
No, they've screwed it.
Yeah, they might be playoffs still.
Yeah,
not top, but playoffs. They might come up with, and then the money they've got, they won't be going down straight away. We're same with Forest Green. They're now playoffs. Looking at a Port Vale's perspective, obviously this game at the weekend, 0-0, windy, awful game. What can't really talk about. 2 weeks ago, beat Mansfield 2-1, huge result for us.
Yep.
I thought it was all doom and gloom. We did that, and then the massive win midweek, 3-0 Yeovil.
I personally think you're safe.
I'm a bit.
I think there's only it's between Yeovil and Macclesfield now.
Yeah,
realistically.
Well, like not. It's them three. I think it's them three. I think Cambridge and yourselves are safe. Markham have picked up a couple of points and done that there. But yeah, they're safe as well. We'll talk a little bit about Oldham as well. Obviously they lost Paul Scholes after 41 days as their manager, and he let the chairman know via text message that he would be leaving.
Yeah, it seems a weird situation there. He's come out and said he's not had what he expected, the support from the chairman.
Yep.
And it's kind of been a bit of an ill-spirited relationship between the two of them.
The chairman's done wrong by him, so he gave him a text rather than let him know in person. I don't blame Scholes at all for it.
Yeah.
The way the chairman's gone about everything.
And just to recap, there was a game last night between Mansfield and Lincoln, which was obviously a top of the table clash, or first v third clash, and it finished 1-1. Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Was it boring?
Mansfield took an early lead from a corner, that third, fourth minute, and then Lincoln equalised. A really horrendous mistake from the goalkeeper. He's come out to get the ball, got nowhere near the ball because the strikers just touched it past him, and he's just ran into the striker, gave a penalty, 1-1. Lincoln will take that. Mansfield jump up into third with that point, above Notts County on goal difference. MK Dons on goal difference. Yeah, that's tight for that last automatic promotion spot. I personally think MK Dons will get it. Okay. With the games coming up. I think
MK Dons get it.
What did you think of Harry Anderson last night?
A solid performance, I thought.
I say that Harry Anderson's a little weird favourite of mine. I like him.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like him.
He's a good player. I like him.
He's a good player.
He's a good little player.
He's name drop time by Alex. My cousin, my second cousin, married a footballer, and he used to play for Portsmouth. He doesn't anymore, and he doesn't play football anymore because he did his ACL and Portsmouth cancelled his contract because lower league football. You know what I mean? Yeah. You do your ACL, they're not going to keep you on really, are you? So they cancelled his contract. He's just finished his UEFA B licence in coaching, so he's going to go and do coaching and do all that. She's done that. But before he did that, he lived in Doncaster and played for Donny. And who did he live next to?
Harry Anderson.
Yeah. Harry Anderson. And we went to his for a barbecue once, and Harry Anderson was there.
Yeah, personally in the game, I don't think a certain player stood out for me. I mean, the man of the match went to a defender, I felt.
Yeah, he went to Bostwick.
Yeah, that was it.
Bostwick, their captain, who is a monster. So he's an absolute machine.
So I just felt it was just, a kind of a scrappy game. It was end to end. It was an entertaining game for League Two, but no one stood out for me personally.
All right then. Fair play. We'll run through the table very quickly. Obviously, Lincoln are top, Bury are second, Mansfield are third, and as Adam said, the playoffs are looking a bit weird for MK Dons, Tranmere, Forest Green, Exeter, and Colchester. It's just League 2 is weird, really, isn't it? It's a weird league.
It is a weird league.
It's a weird league. And then obviously the relegation, as Adam has already run through it and done that. So we will not run through that at all. They do have fixtures, don't they, Adam?
Yes, they do. They have, obviously, no international break for League 2.
Nope.
So, the fixtures this week, I can get them up for you now.
Please do.
So, Carlisle play Cambridge, Cheltenham Northampton, Colchester Tranmere, Crawley Lincoln, Grimsby Bury, Macclesfield Stevenage, Mansfield Crewe, MK Dons Yeovil, Notts County Exeter, Port Vale, Forest Green, Swindon Morecambe. So, no real standout games between close rivals there, really. Just, not any fixtures that stand out to you.
No, I just see if MK Dons beat Yeovil, Macclesfield have got a chance at home to Stevenage. And that closes the gap even more.
So, for all of those listening, place your Rackers on League 2 this week.
Yeah.
Because it's a favourite week.
Yeah, it's a good week.
It's a good week for favourites this week for League 2. It really is. So, place your Rackers on there. Right, moving on, fellas. Let's talk about some actual good football, eh? Champions League! Yes! Let's talk about the Champions League. Now, while we were away, obviously the fixtures, other fixtures happened. Real Madrid got battered 4-1 at Ajax. We're not going to talk about that. Spurs beat Dortmund. Porto beat Roma. Man United did the greatest comeback alive and beat PSG 3-1 and went through on goal difference. So Man United, Porto, Ajax and Spurs went through. Real Madrid are out. The holders, Real Madrid, are out. I repeat, my final pick and winner's pick are also out of PSG. But
mine are out as well.
Yep, you're
Atletico.
out. You said Atletico.
I said Juventus, didn't I?
Yes, you did. And my final was PSG Juventus, so I'm going to stick with Juventus from there for a little bit. But moving on to this week's fixtures that happened. Manchester City 7-balled Schalke. Yes, you heard me. They beat Schalke 7-0. Sergio Aguero got 2. Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, and Gabriel Jesus finished 10-2 on aggregate. The third ever highest aggregate on UEFA Champions League history in the knockout stages. So yes, that is a start there for you fellas. Man City obviously went through. Juve, Real Madrid. Sorry, not Real Madrid. Cristiano Ronaldo basically just went, right, Atletico Madrid, they need knocking out this tournament again. From what was it? Was it 2009 or 2007?
What?
The last times that, every time in the recent history that Atletico Madrid have been knocked out of the Champions League, it has been via Ronaldo. Was it 2009? Since he's been at Real Madrid, basically. Since Ronaldo's been at Real Madrid, every time Atletico Madrid have gone out of the Champions League, it has been to Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, he got a hat-trick last time they played as well.
Yeah, he got a hat-trick there. Obviously, the final where they met, blah, 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 blah. Every time, they always lose to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's repeated himself with this hat-trick of 3-0 there. It was a great... It was Ronaldo. It was brilliant. I don't know a better header of the ball.
It's peak Ronaldo.
Yeah.
It is peak Ronaldo.
Yeah, he was incredible. He was all over the shop. He was brilliant. So, yeah, they obviously go through. It also continues a little trend that I'm not really a massive fan of, but I respect. The Panenka penalty.
It's getting used a lot recently.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Just like,
Aguero used it.
Yeah.
He used it in the Carabao Cup final. Then Messi copied him. Then Ronaldo copied him. Then Messi did it again at the midweek. Blah blah blah. So it's just, I don't like it.
I think keepers are going to start to come onto this, especially now. This quarter-final round, they're going to think, right, I'm facing Messi or Ronaldo or Aguero on a penalty. I'm going to stay where I am, see where he puts the ball. Because, it's a horrible feeling for keepers as well when they get, chipped for a penalty. It's a horrible feeling to dive and then see the ball slowly trickle into the net.
Yep.
But it's just like, as a goalkeeper, you're not going to stay down the middle from a penalty. You're just not going to stand there.
No.
I'd be very surprised to see any keeper just stand there and just catch a penalty.
Yeah.
They're always going to dive. Mm-hmm. So put it down. The safe spot is put it down the middle. I don't get why a lot of players don't do it more. Like just a normal strike down the middle.
Well, a normal strike down the middle, you've got your legs from your keeper, haven't you? Yeah. We've seen that happen numerous amounts of times and doing that lot. So there's that. Anyway, we'll move on. Liverpool beat Bayern away at Bayern. Great game. Sadio Mane proved he's incredible. First goal especially. Wow. Brilliant goal. Dribbles out, Manuel Neuer comes out and beats the big German and it's just like, come at me, bro.
Takes
and
it
it
around
just
him.
Turns
and then dinks it between two defenders.
It was brilliant. It was very, very, very well done. It was incredible. But yeah, as you said earlier on in the pod, they went full ham at Bayern and maybe that fatigue travelled over the weekend.
Yeah, maybe.
But that was a good game. Very good game.
It was. I enjoyed it.
Very good game.
Well, I enjoyed the highlights anyway. I had to watch a pretty poor derby game.
Yeah, we did. And then the other game was, again, where this man just shows how good he is. And he is one of the best players in the world, if not the best. It's Lionel Messi. Scored 2. One was a Panenka penalty, which by far was the slowest one of them all and the darn cheekiest.
Yeah.
The keeper that was not Lopez, because he nearly got subbed off for Gorgilan. I tried to do that in French. Gorgilan. He came on because Lopez got injured, and Barcelona won 5-1. Yeah,
I know, it was only 2-1 with 10 minutes to go.
yeah, brilliant. But Messi scored 2 and created 1 more as well. The goal for Gerard Piqué was brilliant. That ball. For
Messi's
Piqué.
got involved in about 10-12 goals in his last 3 or 4 games now, man.
Yeah. I saw a stat today that we'll get onto when we speak Spain in a minute, where we'll just cover the quarter-final draw there, and we'll discuss that first, because that is going to be happening the same week as the FA Cup is going to be happening. So the FA Cup is at the weekend of this midweek one. So midweek is Spurs Man City, with the first leg being at Tottenham Hotspur's new stadium, which is going to be good.
Yeah.
That's going to be good. I quite like our Premier League tie, but we've got a favour Man City there, right, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second one is Liverpool-Porto, with the first leg being at Anfield. Yeah, we'll favour Liverpool there.
I think Liverpool. I think if Liverpool only win, say by the odd goal, or they don't win,
Yeah.
I think they will struggle in Porto.
Okay. And then we've got Ajax Juventus, with the first one being in Ajax, the Johan Cruyff Stadium.
I think that's the game I'm most excited about.
I'm really excited about that one. I think it's going to be very good. And then the other one, obviously, with all the teams that have been knocked out, is Man United Barcelona, with the first leg being at Old Trafford. I don't know. I think Man United probably would have preferred the first game at the new camp, to be honest with
definitely.
you. But for me, it's going to be Manchester City, Liverpool, Juve, Barcelona, and how the semi-finals will work. It will be a Man City Juve semi and a Liverpool Barca semi, and then obviously whoever goes in the final there.
Yeah.
So I am not going to change who I think will win the thing. I still think Juventus will win it because it's Cristiano Ronaldo's thing. Adam, have you changed your mind, or do you still think the same?
Obviously, I'll stick with it because I said it pretty early on. Although I'd probably go for Man City now.
Man City.
But I think with your predictions for who goes to the semis, I'd just change Man United and Barcelona.
You think Man United are going to beat Barcelona?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very close. It really depends on how Man United turn up and how they want to play, because we've seen them sometimes absolutely, like away at PSG, turned up and absolutely went and scored loads of goals. But it just depends. But I do think Man United would just do it.
You're both idiots. You both are idiots. You are both idiots. How? How are they going to do that?
Keep it tight, and main thing is to win at Old Trafford, and then just keep it tight for 90 minutes. I mean, the Chelsea team in 2012 did it with like a 40-year-old Didier Drogba up top. So.
And they were
40-year-old
shocking.
Didier Drogba up top.
They were just
brilliant.
so. As long as Man United need to keep it tight. If they, but they're saying that PSG went to Old Trafford, won 2-0, and they still got knocked out.
Yeah.
So Champions League is one of the best competitions in the world. So anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I don't appreciate it. I don't agree with you. I think Barcelona are one of the favourites for the thing, and I wouldn't mind a Barcelona Juve final.
I think Man City will win it.
Dear.
I'm going for Man City quadruple. So.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Right, we'll move on. Spain. Messi's pretty good, isn't he?
Just a bit.
It's pretty good, really, isn't he? He's a little bit really good. Speaking of Lionel Messi, combined goals and assists so far this season. You've probably seen this stat earlier on.
Yeah, I did.
It was obviously posted by Sport Bible, and Gary Lineker retweeted it and did all this and the other. Messi has scored or assisted 60 goals this season. Ronaldo is on 36, Sterling's on 35, Benzema's on 31, and Salah's on 28. And he was out for a month with a broken arm. Fifth best player in the world, everybody. Fifth best player in the world. Fifth best player in the world, come to the Ballon d'Or. What a joke that thing is. But yeah, he's got another hat trick. His third goal was bafflingly incredible. The little trip over.
I saw it. My dad had it on in the telly, so I was walking through the living room, and then as I just walked across, he puts it in. That third goal. So I just stood there and watched. Was like, wow.
He's incredible. He is absolutely amazing. Since obviously we missed last week as well, Zidane came back. Zinedine Zuzou, he is back. Yeah, what does it mean for Real Madrid? Nothing. Their season is over. Real Madrid are 10 points behind Barcelona in the league. They're out of the Champions League. They're out of the Copa del Rey. It doesn't matter.
Did you see that poll that was put to the Real Madrid fans about their Champions League success last season? So I think it was only 9% of the contribution that the fans thought was down to Zidane.
Really?
9%, I think it was.
9%, and they've got him back for a second term.
How much Ronaldo did?
Huh?
How much was Ronaldo?
38, I think.
38.
And then there was something like 40 odd for the rest of the players, or 50 odd, whatever it is.
Mad. Yeah, Zidane's come back. Not everything's still right at Real Madrid. They need a massive squad overhaul in the summer. We all know that. They've got injuries to key players, which is why Bale played at the weekend. No Vinicius Jr. Lucas Vazquez went off injured after Bale scored and did all that. So yeah, and Atletico Madrid lost
2-0 to Bilbao.
Yep. So the league is officially over. Barcelona are now.
Yeah, I think we said 4 weeks ago that they were going to win it. So
they now need to lose 2 games, including a game against Atletico Madrid, to even have a shot. Because the way it works in Spain is tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So it works for
if you're on the same points, and it goes down to head to head,
which it doesn't in the Premier League.
No, it's the goal difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tiebreaker.
So it goes down to that. Yeah. So Spain is now boring again.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It's now boring again.
Well, it's only the Premier League and the Bundesliga that's interesting now with the league title.
Yeah. I mean, PSG. We're going to move on to another boring league. PSG. Le Classique, as it is called in France, between PSG and Marseille. PSG won 3-1, and the only really good / funny thing from this game was Mario Balotelli. Adam, explain Mario Balotelli.
So obviously Balotelli coming into this game thinking he might grab a goal. So we put Marcus Rashford shirt on underneath, obviously with Rashford scoring the last minute penalty against PSG to knock him out. It would have been very entertaining if he just scored and they put it on. The sticker would have got, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. Absolutely.
And Lyon, just because they are absolutely battered by Barcelona, we'll talk about them. They won 3-2 at Montpellier, and they have they have a young team, do Lyon. They really do. They have one of the most exciting young teams in the world of football at the moment. I'd probably put Ajax a little bit ahead of them. Just because of obviously De Jong, De Ligt, all them lot.
They're all going to go though, aren't they?
Yeah, so. they're all on there. Whereas Lyon, Martin Terrier, Moussa Dembele, ex-Celtic player, and Hassem Aouar. If any of you play FIFA, you all know who Aouar is.
Yeah.
He becomes like 94 rated on FIFA. He's absolutely incredible. They all got on the score sheet for them, and Moussa Dembele is the first French Lyon player to score 16 goals in all competitions since 2001, which is just shocking. That's really... I don't know how that doesn't happen for a big club like them, because they are a big club.
I thought Fekir might have already done that. I thought Fekir might have got that amount of goals in a season.
Yeah,
but obviously
not.
Obviously, they're getting like 10-12 goals.
Yeah, I forget he's French.
Yeah, so I thought with could he take free kicks, penalties? I thought I might have got there, but obviously not. So
yeah, okay. Well, anyway, they're there. They're still in the French Cup as well. They're through to the semis of the French Cup, where they have drawn Marseille, who obviously we just spoke about losing to them. Germany, Dortmund, since we last spoke, Dortmund lost their top spot. Bayern Munich are now ahead on goal difference, and they won at the weekend 5-0. They have 6-0, sorry. They have their last 3 games, they have won 6-0, 5-0, 6-0.
We said this would happen though. We said Bayern would go on a roll and start battering teams.
Absolutely, yeah.
After they had a bit of a blip. Yep. Dortmund saved themselves last minute.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho got 2 assists.
Man of the match.
Yeah.
That's only Messi's got more since December.
Yeah.
So it was going well for them. I think Bayern looks like they're going to do it now, don't it?
Absolutely. We're going to move on to Italy. Juve lost.
Finally.
They were going to have an unbeaten season. They lost. So
that's what happens when you drop Ronaldo.
It is. Funny thing about that. Tom, tell us about that.
all the fans, when they saw the lineups before the game, they demanding their money back for their tickets because Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't in the starting lineup and he wasn't playing. So
specifically the away fans, which I thought was a bigger joke, because the home fans were more than happy to support their team, but the away fans only wanted to see Ronaldo. They did not want to sit there and watch the rest of the rubbish. The San Siro derby was also this week, and surprisingly went to Inter Milan. They won 3-2. And they are now ahead of AC Milan and third, which is surprising because they still don't have their star striker, Mario Icardi.
I'm hoping he goes to Real Madrid, I am.
Really?
I hope he goes to Madrid in the summer. I hope they get a couple of players. I hope they get Hazard, I hope they get Eriksen.
And Icardi as well.
And I think that'll be a force again.
Do you think he'll demand captaincy? Or do you think he'll accept Sergio Ramos as the boss?
I think he'll accept
that
Ramos is the boss.
Yeah, since we obviously also were not here last week, Claudio Ranieri, yes, you heard me, Claudio Ranieri, ex-Fulham manager, ex-Leicester manager, has gone to Roma, and since he's been at Roma, he's lost his first 3 games. And they lost again at the week to Spal, I believe.
Poor side.
Which they are very, very poor. Anyway, before we go on to the MLS and England, because I know that these lads are really happy to talk about England, the Europa League, because I forgot about it again. Chelsea won 5-0. Olivier Giroud hat-trick.
Yeah.
He loves the thing. Hudson-Odoi also got a goal in there as well. He's also been called up for the England squad as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Valencia go through. Chelsea went through. Napoli went through despite losing to Red Bull 3-1. Benfica went through. Slavia Praha went through. They beat Sevilla 4-3 and 6-5 on aggregate, which that sounded like a good one. And Inter Milan lost to Eintracht Frankfurt. Villarreal won 2-1 against Zenit Petersburg, 5-2 on aggregate. That's a good result for Villarreal, especially away at Zenit. And Arsenal came back from a 3-1 deficit and won 3-0 at home against Rennes, because it's Rennes. And they're just...
did you watch the Arsenal-Rennes game?
I thought they were very, very good. They were very good.
They were good. Rennes were unlucky with the fact that they hit the post and they had a few chances, but there was always... I think we said it was always going to be Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Maitland-Niles in that game was brilliant.
Yeah,
I think he's been one of Arsenal's really unsung players, especially in the Europa League. Their draws look like this. Arsenal got screwed. They got Napoli with the first leg being at the Emirates. Slavia Prague got Chelsea. Benfica and Eintracht Frankfurt, which I really am looking forward to. And then we have an all-Spanish tie of Villarreal Valencia.
That Benfica Frankfurt game will be interesting.
Absolutely.
The Frankfurt striker is on loan from Benfica.
Is he?
Yeah, Luka Jovic.
Will he be allowed to play?
He will be allowed to play because in Europe they don't care.
Right. Okay. MLS. Tom, explain the MLS to us, because neither me or Adam understand it.
What do you want to explain in exactly?
No, just the MLS has started. Wayne Rooney scored a hat trick.
Yeah. Rooney, the third English player to score a hat trick over in the MLS.
It's brilliant.
Bradley Wright Phillips for Lampard, the other two. Interesting week, to be fair. DC beating Real Salt Lake 5-0, which is Salt Lake aren't a bad side. Last year they just missed out on the playoffs. So it's been an interesting week. Sounders won again 4-2. They're top of the Supporters Shield. DC in second. LA Galaxy won without Zlatan against Minnesota 3-2, whereas in the week before they struggled. Carlos Vela scored 2 for LAFC as they drew 2 each. And the Red Bulls finally won against San Jose as well, 4-1.
Did Bradley Wright Phillips play in that game?
Let's have a look. He did. He scored as well.
Took him out my team. Took him out my fantasy team this week. I swapped him for Joseph Martinez for Atlanta, who got beat.
No, they drew.
Oh, whatever.
1-1. But they have been, since the ball's come in, they have been poor.
They're missing Almiron. Yes.
Missing Almiron and they're missing the manager.
Yep. And we'll talk England very quickly. Callum Hudson-Odoi and James Ward-Prowse got called up for us.
And I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy about that.
Ward-Prowse definitely deserves it.
Ward-Prowse should have been in there instead of Delph anyway.
Well, we need Delph now because more left backs have dropped out, especially Luke Shaw.
I'd rather just not have him at all. I don't like Fabian Delph at all. He's played 11 games this season.
I like him.
He's such a poor player.
I like him. I'd have him in my team. I would. I'd have him in Newcastle in a heartbeat. Honestly, I would. I'd have him in that midfield at Newcastle in a heartbeat. Absolutely in a heartbeat. The other person that got called up that I really don't rate, and I know Adam, you agree with me, Kieran Trippier.
No,
I don't think he's had a very good week or a very good season at all.
He's been so poor.
Yeah, but then Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been left out.
Yeah, why has he not been in? He's got the most tackles in Europe.
Has he?
Most tackles in Europe, and he's been left out.
That's mad.
I don't get that. I know with Alexander Arnold, Trippier might be. I don't know who's going to play. Is he going to play Arnold? Is he going to play Trippier? He's going to probably play Trippier and play Walker at centre half. But
because he's been swapping to a 4 formation.
Yeah, so it just depends what he wants to go with. But Trippier's been so poor this season.
Absolutely. Well, I mean,
in a good Tottenham side as well.
Yeah, very good Tottenham side. We're the Nation League favourites, lads. Discuss.
I think we are, yeah.
So I don't think we are. I still think we're going to get beat by Holland.
You do?
I really do think we're going to be. As much as I want us to win, I think that we could win, but I do just think Holland, they've got this new. They've got De Ligt, De Jong, Van Dijk, obviously, Depay, Strootman. They've got some really good players.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a close game, but I think we'll get edged out.
I just think the one thing that Holland miss is like an out-and-out striker.
They've got Memphis Depay.
He's not out-and-out number 9, is he, though? He's like...
He's not Dennis Bergkamp,
no,
but he's Marcus Rashford.
I think Depay is similar to Rashford.
Yeah.
In that case, that he's a winger come striker.
Whereas, like, I think the top teams need that number 9 out-and-out striker, which we've got in Harry Kane. I just think that's the only difference. The defence is solid, but, I mean... Yeah, just Harry Kane's the difference for me. So I just see him going through.
Fair play. And obviously we play 2 friendlies. We don't really care, do we?
They're not friendlies.
Qualifiers, sorry. Yeah, they are. They're qualifiers. Sorry, it's Wales that play a friendly on Wednesday.
They play Wednesday, we should beat Czech Republic and we should beat Montenegro. It's simple as that, really.
We should win every game in the group.
Yeah, 100%. There's no reason why we should drop any points. We're one of the best teams in the world. We should be absolute battering them. I'm glad he's getting younger players in though, and I hope that for at least one of them, Hudson-Odoi and Sancho, start together instead of Sterling and everybody like that. Because Hudson-Odoi, if he starts Hudson-Odoi, Sancho, Rashford, and then plays someone like Barkley, Dyer, Hendo, and then plays whatever defence he wants, I think that's option B for me at the moment. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say so see how it goes first game against Czech Republic, smash them, say 3 or 4-0 at Wembley, and then you go to Montenegro, make a few changes, let some of the younger lads play.
Yeah.
And then just go at them. Let them
go do what you want, lads.
Go and have a free front 3, have a free roll, move around, go score a lot of goals.
Because with Rashford, Sancho and Hudson-Odoi, they can play in each other's positions.
Yeah,
does not matter. So yeah, you're right. Just have a free roam and do whatever you want, and I think they'll thoroughly enjoy that. And I think Southgate has the guts to do so. I really do. So international break, which simply means there isn't a pod next week, unfortunately, because I've decided to go on holiday, and Adam and Tom cannot do this without me. They could, and
you might be able to sit down here and just do it ourselves.
Yeah, they could do, and it would probably be very good. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to play this amazing music and fade on out. But it also means that I get to say goodbye, Mr. Adam Swindles.
Goodbye,
Mr. Tom Rogers.
Goodbye.
See you guys in 2 weeks. Have fun. Peace.